What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jason. I hope you guys have been doing well during these times, you know, still finding time to train, spending time with family, and I just hope everyone's okay out there. So in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you the 7 things you guys are doing that is making your roundhouse kick suck. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so starting off with number 1, first reason why your roundhouse kick sucks is that you are kicking up instead of kicking through the target. This is a common mistake where practitioners, they get up to the target or pad holder or heavy bag or whatnot, and then they stand right in front of it, and when it comes time to kick, they're kicking up. And this is partially due to the type of movement being performed and the muscles you're using. Standard fitness people, bodybuilders, athletes, you know, they'll squat, they'll lunge. These are just basic mechanical motions, but when it comes to the roundhouse kick in martial arts, it's very dynamic. It's a dynamic motion, and it's a combination of strength, speed, flexibility, mobility, all these things that make a good roundhouse kick. So if you haven't been accustomed to using those muscles, getting the muscle memory down, in order for you guys to fix this, you just want to go slow, approach training in a slow, methodical manner. Be very deliberate. Focus on form before speed. Focus on your technique before power. It's probably the most common mistake beginners make and new strikers will do. The fix isn't that hard. It just takes time and patience, like anything in the martial arts. Practice slow, practice deliberate, and focus on your technique while you're doing the roundhouse kick. All right, so the second reason why your roundhouse kick sucks is because you're not pivoting on your supporting leg. What I mean is the pivot helps you transfer the power completely through your target. So reason number 1 and number 2 are kind of related because they both enhance or downgrade each other. If you don't have one, the other one's gonna perform not as well. So if you have both, your roundhouse kick is gonna be more complete. If you leave your foot flat on the ground, it's gonna inhibit you from twisting your hips properly. Whether you come up on the ball of your foot or stay flat-footed, to me, it's just all situational, and there's different times to do one or the other. But the important thing is rotating and pivoting on that supporting leg. Again, you fix this by practicing slow, deliberate, and focusing on technique. One method you guys can do to get the motion down, because everything's about the motion and the mobility, is finding a wall or finding a chair, propping it up and using it for balance, and just working on the pivoting motion. But once you have that down, the pivot, once you start kicking through the target, your roundhouse kick is gonna start coming along for the better. So the third reason, guys, why your roundhouse kick is underperforming or suck is because you're dropping your guard. I can't tell you how many times I have to correct beginners or people who are new to striking to keep their hands up and maintain that defensive position. Because when you drop your guard, an experienced athlete or fighter will time that, and you'll get countered so easily. You'll get clocked in the jaw and you will be asleep before you know it. So you guys, number 3, keep your hands up. All right, always have your guard, guys, is your first line of defense. All right, if they get through this obstruction here, the impact on your face would be less severe than just completely dropping your guard and then having a shot land flush on your chin. Try your best, again, when you're practicing, to focus on form, keeping your guard up. So one thing to remedy this is to give yourself reminders. What I mean is every now and then touching your gloves together, every now and then, you know, returning to base, returning to form. Right here should be your home base. This is home base. This is where you're safe and secure. Always return to this position when you're out of reach from your opponent. Okay, things change. If you're getting closer, you might want to drop a hand or shell up or 2 hands up. Everything is situational depending on the goals you want to do. with your opponent. All right guys, number 4, the fourth reason why your roundhouse kick sucks is because you are leaning too far back, you're leaning too far side. Essentially, you're breaking posture, you're getting out of position. And this is bad mainly because this takes you off of balance. Okay, this is your center line. You want to sit on top of your hips and have gravity play in your favor. Okay, if everything is aligned, you're a strong, stable structure. Once you break that center line, you're gonna be vulnerable to sweeps. You're gonna be vulnerable to being just pushed or punched, knocked off balance. This is the takeaway of the videos. When you're trying to remedy and correct, improve your technique, is you have to practice slow, deliberate, and methodical. Find things that can support you, like chairs, walls. Even if you use your heavy bag, you can post an arm out for balance and support. Once you land the kick on the bag, re-posture up. Make sure your form is on lock before you try to rep out 100 kicks. Okay, because 100 bad kicks is not as good as practicing 10, 5 solid, perfectly technical roundhouse kicks. Quality over quantity. Always remember that. All right, so guys, moving on to number 5, the fifth reason your roundhouse kick sucks is because you're not retracting your leg. A lot of times, even advanced practitioners, people who have been in the game for years, have a hard time retracting, positioning as if you're to check a kick, returning to home base, returning to guard. And this is due to, again, mobility, your balance, dexterity, being dynamic, and utilizing the right muscles. If you don't have the proper muscle memory down, if you haven't laid down that foundation through your form practice, just going through the technique, then don't expect for the kick to work in real time or combat. Because if you throw your kick out there and you just let it drop, again, you're being exposed and you're being vulnerable to people catching the kick. You're being vulnerable to counters, sweeps, takedowns, and just straight up danger. One thing I like to do when working on retracting or rechambering my kick is that after I strike on the bag, again, I'll throw my hands up to return to guard, and as well as keeping my knee hip level and in a checking position as if I'm checking a kick. So I have 2 forms of defense already. I have my hands up to avoid any hand strikes, and I have the leg here to anticipate any form of leg counters or just for them catching the kick. Again, you don't want to slip on form or technique. If you have great form and technique, it's going to transfer to real-time combat or sparring competition. So always deliberate, slow, methodical practice. And then you build up to it. As your technique gets better, you start putting the power. As your technique gets better, you start whipping the hip, okay? You start adding that last final oomph into the end of your punches, end of your kicks. But before that, focus on the technique. You're competing against yourself, trying to improve yourself. You're not trying to be, the alpha dog of the class when you can't even do a good roundhouse kick. All right, so number 6, a far too common mistake I see that makes your roundhouse kick suck is that you guys are standing too close to the target. You're not maintaining proper distance from you and your opponent. The striking range is off. If you're too close to your target, it's not gonna land flush. If you're too close, the trajectory of your kick is gonna be cut off too soon before it reaches the apex of the power of kicking through the target. I mean, although some close range head kicks land, often seen in like Kyokushin or something, if you're intentionally trying to do those, yeah, that's situational. That's if you're trying to land a close range head kick. But for you to land a standard, solid body roundhouse kick, you have to maintain proper distance. In order to get in the proper striking range for your roundhouse kick, what I do is I measure. I measure with my jab or I measure with my teep. Those are good starting points for you to know where and when to land the roundhouse. Okay, whether you're going for the leg or to the body or head, the jab and the teep, the push kick, those are both good measuring sticks for you to get into striking range for your roundhouse. All right, guys, so the last reason why your roundhouse kick might suck is because you're kicking with your feet and little toes instead of the shin or blade of your leg. Shin Instep, that is where the metal, that's the back of your body. And if you can utilize that properly, believe me, you will crush some souls in combat. Usually the people who do this, again, are beginners, sometimes intermediate people who don't have the right distance and who have not trained to connect with the entire body of your shin. If you want to fix that, you practice slow, deliberate, methodical, focus on technique, find a good solid bag or training partner that's gonna work with your pace, okay? The biggest mistake probably is trying to keep up with other people. If you're trying to keep up rather than focusing on what you can control internally, which is your own skill, you're gonna get lost in the race. It's always gonna be a game of catch up if you don't focus on what you can control. So you guys, the 7 things that is holding your roundhouse kick back. 7 things why your roundhouse kick might suck. If you have questions about it, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to respond. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date to all my future content. And please guys, if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me and the YouTube algorithm. All right, so until next time, this is your boy Jason signing in, signing out. Us.